Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Welcome aboard, guys. It is Saturday. It is match day. We're getting into the match day vibes, guys. Seems like forever since we played, isn't it? That darn Grimsby game. It's really affected us, isn't it? In regards to not having any games. One game a week, and I don't know if we can cope with this. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to one game in a week. I'm gonna admit it, guys. Welcome aboard. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, all that lovely stuff. Put your notifications on and all that. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everyone who's joined me this morning, guys. Now, let's get straight into it. Of course, we've been speaking about a right wing back. It seems like forever. I think I was banging a drum during the summer about how Man United need a right wing back. Man United need a right back. It's very important. We're going to suffer next season. I mean, I remember saying it during the summer window, and people would say, "No, Sal, we don't need a right wing back. Why do we need a right wing back? Dallo could do the job." Blah, 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 all that nonsense. And lo and behold, Man United are looking for a right wing back. And one of the right wing backs you may not have heard of, his name is John Aramburu. John Aramburu is a 23-year-old Venezuelan international currently playing for Real Sociedad. Now, look, this guy, incredibly talented, playing for Real Sociedad in the La Liga, only 23 years old, contracted until 2030. So, look, he's gonna cost 15 million euros is the quotation. Although I believe that when I see it, I do believe it will go up to at least 30 million euros for the 23-year-old. 11 caps for Venezuela. Obviously, a very, very good talent. And these are the kind of players that you look at and you think, you know what? Some people may not have heard of him, and you think, who is this player? John Aramburu. Who is he? And I like this about it. I like this because it's not necessarily about getting the expensive player, getting the household name player. Sometimes you got to search and you can find a little bit of gold in the mud. Do you know what I mean? And I say that this signing would represent a welcome signing for me. We need a right wing back. We need someone who's a specialist. The guy can play left wing. The guy can play right wing. The guy can play right back, left back. The guy's versatile. So what does that mean when he can play those various positions? It basically means that he can play the right wing back position, doesn't it? And that is what we need. We need a player who can do various positions and kill 2 birds, 3 birds, 4 birds with 1 stone, of course, guys. So John Aramburu, guys, you heard it here first. Stretford Post exclusive. John Aramburu is linked with Manchester United, the Real Sociedad right wing back, guys. So very, very exciting news there coming out of Man United. And look, Man United have been linked to a number of players over the last few weeks, and we will continue to be linked with a number of players over the next few weeks as well, because Man United do want to bolster this squad, of course, guys. Absolutely. Now, another player, you may have heard of him, been linked with Man United before, spoke about him during the summer, is a centre-back named Gleison Bremer. Now, Gleison Bremer is a Brazilian international, 5 caps for Brazil, currently playing for Juventus at the moment. Man United are looking to bolster that defence. I don't agree necessarily about bolstering the defence. I do believe we have a decent defence already. We got the likes of Aiden Heaven, Delict, Mazrui, Yoro, Licha. With the youngsters, Fredrickson and Kolungi and these type of players coming through as well, Thwaites coming through as well. So I'm not keen on Man United spending money on a centre-back, but it does seem like Ruben Amorim wants an experienced centre-back to complement the young players that he has at the back. Now, he is 28 years old. He is a Brazilian international. But the thing about Gleison Bremer, he's valued at about 50 million euros. Now, the guy is an incredibly talented player, a very good player. We know that he's experienced, and he would fit the mold perfectly for Man United. Obviously, Ruben Amorim is looking for players that are going to complement his system. He's looking for players that can bring Man United forward and can play that system. And that. I like him, but I don't believe Man United need a defender. It's not the priority at the moment. I'm not saying that we shouldn't sign a defender ever. I'm saying that I don't feel like it should be a priority at the moment. I don't think defenders should be on top of Manchester United's wish list at the moment, of course. And I agree with that. But I think midfield, right wing back, yeah, absolutely, we need that. But centre back at the moment, I think we're relatively covered in those positions. Obviously, I didn't even mention Maguire there. I don't know how long Maguire is going to stay at the football club, but that's another one, isn't it? So I do believe that Man United are relatively covered in the centre back areas. But Gleison Bremer is a very good defender. 5 caps for Brazil, of course, and relatively late comer into the scene, to be honest with you, in regards to only being 5 caps for Brazil, Juventus player. Look, United have been linked to him before. A lot of us were shutting it down at the time, saying, no, we don't need a defender. etc. But another one who is linked to Man United this morning is Gleison Bremer. So that is a name to keep an eye at and keep your ear to the ground in regards to him. He is a talented player. He's a talented defender. And the great thing about this is that Man United are looking at players and looking at alternatives. They're looking at players who could fit the mold, you know, who won't necessarily be as expensive as the next man. I would, however, say that instead of spending money on a defender, I think that Man United do need to spend money on that midfield and bolster that midfield. Of course, we've been linked to the likes of Anna Wharton and Carlos Baleba, amongst many other players in that midfield. Elliot Anderson is another one that is a new kid on the block that has been linked to Manchester United over the last few weeks because obviously he's burst onto the scene like a house on fire. And also playing for England, looked like he's been playing for England for 10 years. And of course, Man United are going to be linked with this player. They're going to be linked with him. Now, look, another one is Harry Kane. Of course, Harry Kane is looking to come back to English football. 104 goals, 104 appearances and 100 goals for Bayern Munich. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal when you're looking at it. He's really looking to beat the Bayern Munich record, of course, guys. An absolute gunman in the front of goal. I would say, however, he scored a lot of penalties. Every time I look at the screen and I look at the goals for Bayern Munich, I see Harry Kane and I see penalty. Look, I mean, just because he's coming back to England doesn't mean he's going to come to Manchester United. Apparently, Harry Kane has around a 65 million release clause in his contract in regards to going back to the Premier League. I don't think Man United will be doing a deal for 65 million for a 32-year-old. I don't think that would be smart business move. Of course, he can score goals, but Man United right now, this moment in time, I don't think it will be wise to sign a 32-year-old. He's on the way down at the moment. He's playing in the Bundesliga, coming back to the Premier League, which is a completely different kettle of fish, in my opinion. Now, guys, you may have heard yesterday about the circulations, about the news about the stadium. Man United are looking to remove the tent, the canopy, so to speak. And they've made a new, simpler design in regards to the stadium. Now, look, you know how I feel about this. You know what my stance is. I'm an Old Trafford guy. I believe in Old Trafford. I think Man United should revamp Old Trafford. I don't think Man United should move away from Old Trafford. I think Old Trafford should be a listed building. I do believe it's not impossible to revamp Old Trafford. Maybe it might be a little bit more expensive according to reports. I mean, how much you trust in that, I don't know. But I would love us to stay at Old Trafford. So every time I see these new stadium plans, I'm seeing people getting giddy. Are you really a Man United fan that you're getting giddy over a stadium when we're moving away from our spiritual home, the home that has been part of our success? A big part of our success is Old Trafford. And it's what gives us an advantage as well. Old Trafford is a stadium that gives us advantage. It gives us an advantage over the other teams because the likes of Arsenal, the likes of City, they haven't got this football heritage in regards to that. And I think we should really revamp Old Trafford rather than just building a simplistic design. Look, the stadium that I saw, the redesign, the other chat GPT design, it just looks very, very basic. A very, very basic stadium. It won't even be one of the best looking stadiums in Europe, in my opinion. I look at it and I look at even Athletic Bilbao and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that is not even, it's not even as good as that, you know, and this is what I'm talking about. You know, I just don't think, I think this is a vanity project and I think Man United need to try and rebuild Old Trafford if we could possibly do that. However, I understand money. I understand that. I understand how the game works. And understand that people have to move forward, but you don't necessarily have to move forward so drastically to move away from what has been our home for over 100 years. Do you know what I mean? And Bernabeu, Real Madrid, they're staying at Real Madrid, they're staying at the Bernabeu. And if you've ever been to the Bernabeu, guys, if you've ever been to the Bernabeu, if you've ever been to Real Madrid, right? The Bernabeu is slap bang right in the middle of a town. Like there's like a motorway that leads into the center of Madrid, right? And then there's like flats around it, loads of flats around that part of Madrid, loads of flats, right? I used to stay at a hotel when I used to go and see Man United against Real Madrid. I used to stay at a hotel called Via Castellana, and it's just down the road from there. And all around that area, there's flats, and then you see the Bernabeu in the middle of nowhere. So if Real Madrid can rebuild a brand new Bernabeu in the middle of Madrid, why can't Man United rebuild Old Trafford? You know, and this is what I'm talking about. You know, I just think it is an excuse. I think that Ineos and I think that the Glazers and I think that Jim Ratcliffe want to rubber stamp their name all over the stadium. That's what they want to do. And also they want to build hotels. They want to build franchises around, you know, and put their name around everything and make money. I have nothing against making money. I do, however, have something against removing Old Trafford. I think it's an absolute travesty. And you know what? It's not. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I've always said it. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, and sometimes you have to take a stand, and you have to say, look, you know what? This is our home. We shouldn't be moving away from there. However, it is what it is. We have what we have. I believe that Qatar would have rebuilt Old Trafford. That's what I believe. They probably would have cared more about our history and heritage than that. My biggest thing, if I was in charge of Manchester United, my biggest thing would be like, you know what we need? We need to rebuild Old Trafford. That would be the first thing I say. We need to rebuild Old Trafford. That's what I want. We need to rebuild Old Trafford because Old Trafford is our spiritual home, and there's a lot of history in regards to obviously the Busby Babes and the Munich disaster, being bombed in World War II, etc. And I would have said to everyone, I said, look, our main aim here is to stay at Old Trafford, and that's what I want to do. There's a lot of people there, obviously, who claim to be Man United fans who are getting a little bit giddy about the stadium because they are Ineos backside kissers, I would say. The Ineos backside kissers. They don't want to say anything negative about them because they've already sacrificed themselves, sacrificed their soul, so to speak, in regards to Ineos, and they don't want to say anything negative about them, which is, fair enough. At the end of the day, not everyone can be a wolf. Some people are just sheep, and that's the way it is at the end of the day. Let me welcome everyone to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Hope everyone is blessed, of course. Welcome to Stretford Post. Big up, Daryl. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Old Trafford just needs the refurb. They shouldn't leave our home. I agree with this, Daryl. I agree 100%. I don't understand why people be so giddy about leaving Old Trafford. Old Trafford is our spiritual home, and you know what excites me? A rebuilt Old Trafford, a brand new Old Trafford at Old Trafford. I mean, come on. I mean, it's much more exciting than moving to a stadium down the road, has no history or heritage. We could still maintain and keep our history and heritage if we stay at Old Trafford, and that, I mean, I know we haven't played well at Old Trafford as well as we have done over the last few years. But what I would say is that, it is Old Trafford still. And my biggest problem with Old Trafford in recent years is that it's not become intimidating enough. It's not been scary enough, so to speak, like it used to be. It's now more commercial stadium. But that can be rebuilt. That can be designed. We can design Old Trafford to be in a very intimidating and scary stadium for the opponents again. But they want to move to a new stadium. They want to move to a bowl. They want to move. That's what they want. That's what they want. Even Athletic Bilbao did not move away from their stadium. And this is the thing. The history and heritage for some is very, very important. For me, it's very, very important. Our history and heritage is incredibly important to me. And that's what I would say. Big up, Dow. I hope you're doing well. Big up, Joe. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. For me, getting Harry Kane is a massive gamble. And why are we thinking of getting a 32-year-old anyway for 60 million as well, by the way, when we have Sesko? I totally agree with you that we need to keep Old Trafford and just rebuild. I agree, mate. And I agree about Harry Kane with you as well, mate. This is a typical Glinios sort of rumor about Harry Kane. I would think that Glinios would love to get Harry Kane, of course, sell shirts, etc. England international, blah blah blah. But we need to be realistic, guys. He's a 32-year-old. If Harry Kane was 15 million, 20 million, contract running out, or get him on a free transfer, yeah, great. If it was a Teddy Sheringham sort of thing who was in his 30s, and we're getting Teddy Sheringham, yeah, great. It's great for the squad. But at the end of the day, we need to think forward. We need to think forward. Man United, I don't believe, can afford to spend 65 million on a bloody striker. Do you know what I mean? On a 32-year-old striker, of course. Absolutely not. Joe. Oh, good morning. Good morning, my friend. I have a fantastic day, mate, and I've been confident about the game today. 3 points in the game back. Come on, Joe. Absolutely. It is all about the game today. I'm very excited about the game. Apprehensive. A little bit cautious in my thinking, because obviously the Chelsea game, I'm not reading too much in it. I'm delighted about the result. Obviously, the circumstances and context around the game, has made me feel like this, not negative, but it's a little bit like just eager for the game to start. And I'm eager to see which Man United turn up, to be honest. A little bit concerned about the injuries as well. Obviously, Mazraoui is out. Ahmad is out on bereavement, of course. Mazraoui is the one that I'm incredibly concerned about. Obviously, Mazraoui is a fantastic player, with one of our better players over the years. And over the last couple of years, I think he's been a great signing. And he's a big miss. We're going to have to play Dalot in that right wing back position, which I'm concerned about. There's one thing I'm concerned about. I said it yesterday. I said that Dalot is a Nana as the right wing back. He's basically a Nana as reincarnated as a right back. That is what Dalot is to me. right? I'll be supporting him. I'll be willing him on, and I'll be winning on all those players to win today. I really hope we win because I really want to squash that we ain't won 2 in a row narrative. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what we need to do. We need to squash these narratives, because this is what the media are feeding onto. Those little buzzwords, those little buzz sentences that, haven't won 2 in a row, haven't won 2 in a row. Let's get rid of that. Then they're going to say, hasn't won 3 in a row, hasn't won 3 in a row. And then we get rid of that and we beat Sunderland and we won 3 in a row and so forth. And you know how it works with this media. I so desperately need us to win today. Desperately. Don't want any draws because that's going to feed into it again. This is not the strongest Brentford side of all time. We need to go out there and make a statement and say, all right, you think that's Chelsea game? We only beat Chelsea with 10 men. Is that what you think? Okay, let's go and smash up Brentford. And as I said in my match preview, I did say 4-1 to Manchester United, didn't I? Absolutely. Big up, Gary. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up, Benny. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you as well, my guy. Absolutely. Hopefully, Sesko gets off the mark. Absolutely. Marky Mark, good morning, the legend. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you. I agree. Absolutely. You should stay at Old Trafford. And the fact that some fans are so willing just to chuck everything under the carpet and say it doesn't matter makes me think a lot about their status as Man United fans. It really does. Because I feel like they're supporting Ineos more than they're supporting Man United. And that's what, because they sacrificed themselves in regards to Ineos. And they don't want to say anything negative about Ineos because then it makes them look stupid because they backed them from the beginning. And that's just a lack of intelligence, Obviously, lots of people get happy. And this is the problem why we still have the Glazers. This is exactly why we still have the Glazers. Exactly why we still have the Glazers. We're too soft. We get excited by shiny new things. It's a bit like when we were going to do a protest before the game against Arsenal, right? And then we did the Belabor rumors came out, and everyone thought, no, you can't do a protest. Ineos have got Belabor. They're targeting Belabor. What do you want them to do? No, lo and behold, they cancelled the protests, and we didn't get Belabor. They actually just made a clown of themselves. 50 million plus 5 million incentives. So this is what I'm talking about. We're soft as a fan base. We're soft. We're not what we used to be, and it resonates into the stadium that we are a soft touch. And this is what I think about Man United at the moment. We are a soft touch. We get excited by shiny new toys, and we shouldn't be like that. We should say, look, you look at AC Milan, for example. You look at AC Milan, you look at the San Siro. There's been a huge disagreement in regards to San Siro and AC Milan and Inter Milan about the stadium rights and it was keeping the stadium, removing away from the stadium. AC Milan and Inter Milan have united to purchase the stadium from the council. I think it's the council that Milan owns the stadium because it is a beautiful stadium and for me it should be a listed building as well. It is a beautiful stadium. I went to the San Siro a few years ago. I know it's old. I know it's concrete. I know it's one of those old-fashioned stadiums. So was Real Madrid when they rebuilt it. But they're looking to revamp the San Siro. They're looking to revamp it, rebuild it, and just refurb it, to be honest with you. And that's great. And I think we should keep our heritage. We should keep stadiums that have got historical value. I just don't think that people understand that. I think these new school fans, I don't know whether it's new school fans or Ineos KISS backsiders, I think that is them, to be honest with you. And they're the ones who are forcing this. Now, look. I'm not going to be an old twat and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna give my opinion about what I think about it, and that's exactly what I think about it. To be honest with you, Man United will no longer be the same Man United at a stadium. Like it looks like an Olympic stadium in West Ham. Big up, Freddie Van. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my guy. I hope everything is blessed with you. Good to see you, of course. Marky Mark. Santa Cruz, how are you, my friend? Very well. Good to see you again, my friend. Tomorrow I'll work at the third shift in America and get a time 6 a.m. I'm going to start 7. Good. Big up, my friend. Come on, mate. Good morning, Sanjay. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Absolutely. Good morning, Ephraim. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you as well. Good to see you as well, guys. Good to see everyone in the stream. Hey, Saviour, what's going on, my friend? Right wing back is needed, and I can go for the Brazilian Monaco right back and add what we can. Vanderson is one of the players that I've been talking about for a while that Man United should go for. However, obviously, Vanderson is highly sought after, and I think if Man United can look at various right backs around Europe, if they're good enough, I think that'd be great. But what I would also point out is the likes of Real Sociedad. Obviously, Real Sociedad have got John Aramburu, who plays for Venezuela. They got him. They scouted him and they found him. And I think that's what Man United need to do. Van der Sar would be a perfect signing for me. For me, I think he's a new Carfu, in my opinion. I think he's a fantastic player. And I think he'll be a great addition to Man United. I really do. Absolutely. Big up everyone in the house, of course. Guys, rebuilding Old Trafford, yes, I support that. Then building another Old Trafford, no, not. I mean, and this is the problem, isn't it? And exactly, Xavier, I agree with this. You know, I agree that rebuilding the stadium is you know, at Old Trafford, I'm all for it. Alex Ferguson used to do it. I remember when the Sir Alex Ferguson stand was being rebuilt, and we played without a stand, you know, back in the mid-90s. And I remember in the early 90s when we didn't have the Stretford end, we rebuilt the Stretford end, and we had no stand there. We were still playing football. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's any excuse not to rebuild the Old Trafford. I don't get it. I mean, they have used the excuse about the railway and stuff like that. That could be bypassed. That could be bypassed. I think this is using that as an excuse. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. As regards to Kane, Shell Certs, absolutely, Benny. That is exactly what it is. Benny, they can refurbish it, they can rebuild it, even expand it a bit, but they must never remove Old Trafford. I agree, mate. I agree. It is our heritage, it's who we are. Old Trafford is who we are. It is our heritage, it is our home, our spiritual home. Our most successful years have been at this stadium. They want us to go to another stadium, you know, which will probably be a commercial playground, and it won't be as intimidating and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I would say, you know. Yeah, Old Trafford is different to any other stadium. You know, it's completely different. It is a Bernabeu. It is a new camp. It's one of those days, the San Siro. There's only a few stadiums around the world that remain that are, you know, historical, that everyone wants to play. Even though Old Trafford is old, everyone still wants to play at Old Trafford. They get in awe when players come to Old Trafford. They get in awe with the stadium and stuff like that. Benny, Harry Kane sells shirts and Glazers, typical signing. We need to move away from that sort of signing. Absolutely agree with that, Benny. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. As a disability support, as a disability, we need a new stadium while Old Trafford has passed its time for disabled. So why can't we rebuild Old Trafford, Simon? Why can't we build Old Trafford and refurb the disabled facilities? Why can't we do that? We could do that. You know, we can make Old Trafford into a brand new stadium, just like the new stadium you're going to move up the road. You know, moving away from Old Trafford takes away our historical heritage. That's what it does. My first picture at Old Trafford was with the Munich clock. You know, and that's what I'm saying. There's no reason why we can't fit the same facilities in Old Trafford that will be in the new stadium. And that's what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? Only people who don't really understand it say things like that. Sorry, Simon. Tyborg. The early kickoff is what worries me very much. We tend to underperform at these early kickoffs. Absolutely, Tyborg. Big up, Tyborg. Hope you're doing well. I absolutely agree. Over the years, we have literally not done well in regards to early kickoffs. We have to change that narrative. You know, we have to change this. Man United traveled to London on a train. I mean, crazy, isn't it? I remember when Man United used to be much more luxury than that. But, you know, I would say that, no, the last game was Fulham, wasn't it? Fulham, and we drew. You know, we should have won the game. I think we played a riot in that game and should have won the game. I mean, very important. You know, I don't think there'll be any excuses for me today. We have to win the game. And that is the bottom line for me. We have to beat Brentford, because if we don't beat Brentford, it just the Chelsea game becomes irrelevant, doesn't it? Because we're just back where we were, and we're just going by what we've always done, isn't it, Tyborg? You know, Tyborg, I hope you're feeling well. By the way, I hope you're blessed, my friend. I hope your family are well, and my prayers and thoughts are with you, my friend. I hope you're good, my guy. And I know it's at this difficult time. Big up to Tyborg, and much love to Tyborg, of course. Chadosi. Brentford will be at it, but I see a win today. Absolutely. Let's hope so. They have to be at it, and Chidosi. The thing is, Brentford will be at the game. They will be at it. They will be ready to pounce. But Man United need to be ready for that. Man United have had a whole week to prepare for this game. There's no excuses anymore. There's no excuses that we haven't been in training. No, these players should be good enough to defeat Brentford. And not only Brentford, a weak Brentford. However, I am a little bit concerned about a lot of these players. I feel like these players, you know, are just untrustworthy. I don't trust them. I'm sorry, but I don't trust these players. I wish I could trust these players. I wish I had the trust of them, but I can't. I just can't, because past evidence suggests that I shouldn't trust them. I just hope they prove me wrong today. Benny, even though I did predict us to win. Benny, United need to flex their muscles today. Comfortable win today would be a great go into the Sunderland game. Absolutely, mate. And then all of a sudden you're looking at the realms of we won 3 in a row, isn't it? And going into the international break. Now, that is going to be obviously a pain in the backside going into the international break when we just won 3 in a row, because the last time we went international break, we lost to Man City afterwards, didn't we? We beat Burnley, then we lost to Man City afterwards. But yeah, looking on a positive, I mean, we beat Brentford. I actually think we'll beat Sunderland, and I think Man United will be in the realms of 3 games in a row we've won. And then obviously we're going to be a lot more confident. Obviously the noise around Ruben Amorim will be quiet a little bit. I mean, it'll be great. It was a little bit more better this week, obviously, because we beat Chelsea, but it was still there. The noises were still there, weren't they? There were still those people. I've been on other streams and stuff. There's still those people doubting Ruben Amorim, and they're doubting the process and stuff like that. But let me tell you this, guys. We beat Brentford today. It will signify a change for Man United. However, I am cautiously optimistic, and I know about these players, and I know that these players can flatter to deceive sometimes, and they do let us down. They let us down in the Europa League final. They definitely can let us down against Brentford, guys. My biggest excitement about the game is obviously Cunha and Bruno, and obviously Sesko as well. These are the players, and new players are what excite me. You know, they're the ones that I look at and I think, yeah, look, a new leaf. You know, they're the players that can actually, you know, haven't let me down yet. You know what I mean? They haven't let me down yet. So I have that confidence in regards to them, and I have that confidence that they can change the game. I actually feel that Mbeumo is going to have a very good game today. Remember this, guys. I actually think that Mbeumo will have a very good game today. Look, people forget that Mbeumo is going back to his old home. So it's going to be difficult. The crowd will be up for it. But Mbeumo is a highly respected individual. So let's see. Big up, Stephen. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Absolutely. Shakti, good morning. No, comparing Dalla Onana is a bit too harsh. Isn't a spectacular, but he is a good player. Gets the job done. A good player, no, Shakti. He's not. He's an average player. He's not a good player. And I do compare him to Onana. And I think many people will compare him to Onana. He's tactically naive. He's positionally naive. He's positionally ignorant. He loses his man. He cost us a lot of goals last season. He's not a good right wing back, mate. He's not. And as much as you want to feed into that, he's not. And he is an Onana as a right wing back. If he was in goal, he'd be letting in goals left, right, and centre like Onana. He is not a great right wing back. And I've been proven time and time and time again about that. You know, I've been on stream and someone's been backing Dalot, and he's straight away he made a mistake and we conceded the goal. Absolutely not. You just need to take it back to last season, the Porto game, the Brentford game, losing your man, loads of it. He's an average defender. And I have spoken to AC Milan fans. They say the same. When he was on loan at AC Milan, tactically naive, positionally ignorant, and he makes mistakes. He's a passion merchant. So you guys get hooked by little things, man. Ridiculous. Hope Cunha is back today. Me too. Lamans will start. Let's hope so, Milton. Big up, Milton. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, Sal. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Chidosi. Good to see. Big up Lagos and big up Nigeria. Hope you're all doing well over there, my friends. Good to see you, brothers and sisters, of course. Ephraim, Sal, we need to stay at Old Trafford. It is iconic, the historical, unmatchable. We can refresh the stadium. Exactly. I agree with that. 100%. You know what I mean? 100% we can refresh the stadium. The problem is what they want is that they don't want a new stadium. They want an Ineos stadium. They want something that is Ineos. It is a vanity project, in my opinion. And that is what I'm saying. That is what I've been believing. It is a vanity project. They want their name around the stadium, guys. You know what I mean? Kane is on fire at the moment at his age. It's not a no wages wage. Yeah, he'll be earning about that much money, mate, especially at his age. He probably, if he comes to the Premier League, he'd probably earn about that 300 to 400,000 a week, which I don't think we can pay at the moment. Look, Harry Kane is a fantastic player, but you know he's a very expensive player. And for his age, if he was 10 years younger, 5 years younger, even, yeah, that would be great, but not at this time. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Sir Alex Ferguson had a plan to rebuild 100 stadium, and away said no to and ended it. No, because we didn't try it. We didn't try to rebuild it. It would have been too expensive at that time for Man United to rebuild it. Nowadays, you can do it. You can do it, but you have to spend a little bit more money. And that is all it is. It's money at the end of the day. You think the railway won't move? You don't think the railway will move? The little railway there? Come on. You know what I mean? It's just, it was a South Stand that Man United didn't have the finances to build it, you know, but we would have done. I actually think if Sir Alex Ferguson was around, we would have done it by now. Absolutely. Roy, good morning. Why has Diogo Dalot been playing in the strongest league since 2018? I don't know, mate. I don't know. That's testament to where we are, of course, guys. Old Trafford can be refurbished. 4 different places will affect the game attendances for the short term, but we need to find a way to refurbish it instead of a new tent. Exactly, mate. Exactly. And those who don't understand this don't quite understand what Manchester United is all about, guys. I don't want to be disrespectful, but those who are giddy and excited and posting those stadium pictures all over the internet, you need to understand who we are, our heritage. We are Manchester United. We play at Old Trafford. And that is what it is at the end of the day. And people are excited about that probably because they don't really understand the heritage of the football club. That's it. And you know those people are. Some of them have big platforms. You know what I mean? I think he's the most unstable defender I have ever seen. I mean, who? Diego Dalot, absolutely. An awful right back. I think he's well. Look, guys. Maybe I'm being a disservice. Look, you know what? He's basically an Everton right back, right? An Everton right back, maybe Bournemouth. Bournemouth probably have a better right back than him. You know, I just think that is what it is. I think he is. Diego Dalot is not the talent that you need. When Man United need to look at the likes of Anderson and these players that are the future, not that hanging on to players. And this is something that I mentioned a couple of times this week. I've mentioned it. What are we expecting here? What are we expecting with the likes of Dalot and Maguire and Luke Shaw and Bruno and Casemiro? And what are we expecting here? And let me take Casemiro out of that because Casemiro has actually achieved things. So what we looking at? We're looking at these players to all of a sudden, for Manchester United, miraculously become these world-class players. We're miraculously expecting Luke Shaw to never be injured again. You know, we're miraculously expecting Maguire to become prime Maldini. You know, and this is what we're talking about. These players are what they are. They are what they are. They're not going to change. Dalot is what he is now. He's not going to change. He's not going to improve. And this is the thing, you know, and this is what we have to understand. We have to start looking forward and we have to start doing a proper rebuild, in my opinion. Big up, Damien. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sal. I hope all is well with you. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. What is your prediction for today's game? I did say, Damien, you may think I'm a little bit delusional, but I would say that I did say 4-1 to Manchester United. I'd say 4-1 to Manchester United. That's what I said. You know what I mean? But I would take a 1-0 off the backside last minute. A VAR decision. I would take the win. All I want today, performance comes second, guys. I don't care about that. I care about Man United winning the game today. I just care about getting the points on the board and we move forward and we move up that league. I think that is what's most important for Man United at the moment. All this business about, oh, we need to perform, we need to do this. I'm not interested in that because no matter what, guys, no matter what, whatever we do, the media are going to be scrutinized Manchester United. The media are going to go after Man United. We play badly, we win. Oh, but they played badly. They were lucky. We play well and we win. Oh, it's only Brentford. You know, and this is what happens with Man United. Do you know what I mean? And we just need to do us, get the win, move out. And the more wins we get, the more they don't have a leg to stand on, the people that are scrutinizing Man United week in, week out. The more we win, the more their legs get cut off and they can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? They can't say nothing and they have nothing to talk about. It was actually difficult for them. It was actually very awkward and uncomfortable for me to watch them in periods. Watching them trying to make up news about Man United during the week, trying to be a little bit controversial about Man United the week when Man United had just won a game, you know, at the end of the day. So very, very important that we win the game. Joe, at 11:30, when the lineups come, I hope I see Lamens and Mainu today. I really hope so, John. I wouldn't put bank on it. I wouldn't put my mortgage on it. I would love to see that, my guy, as well. I would absolutely be delighted if I see Lamens starting in goal. And what would that do for me? I mean, and what would that do for us? It would show me that Ruben Amorim has the confidence and the guts to do it. And, you know, just to play a new goalkeeper. You know, it's what Alex Ferguson used to do. So effectively, he used to just change his team. All of a sudden, you'd be like, what? Luke Chadwick? What? You know, and that's the thing, you know, and you've got to keep players on their toes. And I do believe Lamens should play. I do believe Mainu should play. However, I think it's a very, very slim chance. I do. I just feel I can't see it now. I've lost confidence in it happening. I think it's going to be the typical. I actually think that it's going to be Bayender in goal. I think we're going to have Maguire, De Ligt, and probably Euro in defence, probably like that. We probably have Bruno and Ugarte in the midfield. We have Dalot as a right back, Dorgo as a left back. We're probably going to have Cunha and Bremer, which is great, and Mount. That is probably what it will be. And we will all be saying, where's Sesko? Where's Mainu? Where's Lamens? We're all going to be doing that, isn't it? Because every single week we're doing the same thing, you know. However, look, I'm not going to stress myself too much about it. But I am thinking about the long term. I like to think about the long term and the repercussions that these things have, especially when you keep dropping the striker, playing the striker, dropping the striker. I know what that's done in the past. I know the historical value or invaluable value of inconsistently playing your strikers in regards to, I know the effect it can have on the strikers. If you inconsistently play them, it knocks their confidence to 6. And I hope he does play the right team. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm looking at it right now. I'm thinking just get the win and move out of Brentford and move on to the Sunderland game, where I feel like Lamens could make his debut at Old Trafford maybe, you know. He does need to make his debut at Old Trafford. He does need to make his debut for Man United. He's a very good goalkeeper. I've been hearing rave reviews about him in training. Actually, Maguire's already sang his praises already, of course. So I'm very excited about sending them in. I'm very excited about Sesko as well. But we need to be consistent and we need to start playing them in the games and give them a chance. We will win 2-1 today. Big up, Simon, by the way. Look, guys, I am giddy about winning today. I'm excited about winning today. Big up, William. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Morning, bro. A big win today. Let's have it. Absolutely. It's match day. We're getting into the match day vibes, guys. Absolutely. Something happened to Ahmad's family. What was he had a bereavement in the family. Chidosa and condolences and prayers are to his family at this difficult time. And that's what I would say. Yeah. That's what happened, and hopefully all my prayers and love it to his family. Big up, Joe. 21 likes, guys. We need to get to 50 likes every single show, morning show, guys. We need to get to 50 likes. In the Breaking Dawn should be 50 likes minimum, guys. That's what we need. We need to get to 50 likes and then move on to 100. Can we do that today, guys? Can you guys do me a favor and get to? We've got 80 in the house at the moment. We should already have 50 likes in theory, shouldn't we? At the end of the day, Derek. Good morning. Kane, Man United nation lost, but happy abroad expat Kane, Man United nation lost, but happy abroad expat Kane. I don't get that, but big up, Derek. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. Hope Lamens featured today. I hope so as well. Refurbishing the phases would be good. Maintenance and repairs go on continually. Old Trafford's iconic location still. Absolutely, Milton. You get it. I understand it. And I think that Man United will be better for it. Not only about the new look, we're talking not only talking about Old Trafford. I'm thinking for Manchester United Football Club on the pitch will be better playing at Old Trafford. We will be better. You think we're going to go to Old Trafford, all right, a new stadium, right? The new Old Trafford. You think we're going to go there and we're going to start dominating football? Ask Arsenal if they've dominated football since 2004, since they moved to the Emirates Stadium. Ask them if they've been successful. Ask them how many league titles have they won at the new Emirates. You know, that was meant to take them into a new dawn, a new era and stuff. But listen, guys, Highbury. I know that Highbury was small, but Highbury. I used to hate playing at Highbury. I used to dislike playing with Highbury with a passion. It was like a little matchbox ground, right? I've been there. And it was so difficult to get your passes going. Beckham couldn't pass those long balls and stuff. It's such a tight ground, guys. And that was part of their ammunition. That was part of who they were. That's what made Arsenal very difficult to play because they had Highbury, you know, and they had quality players as well on top of that, but they had Highbury. Now, when they moved to the Emirates, I don't think they've been the same team since then. I really don't. Stephen, 3-1 United win. Come on, my guy. I hope you're doing well. But the win is all that matters, mate. Win is all that matters today. That's all I'm interested in. I don't care if Man United have a stinker. As long as Man United win this game, that is all I'm interested in today, guys. All I'm interested in is the 3 points going on to Sunderland and an opportunity to win 3 in a row, guys. Firstly, 2 in a row. Get rid of that narrative. Get rid of that sinister narrative that's on the media waves and the buzzword these days that people keep saying, you know, those sound bites. They haven't won 2 in a row. He hasn't won 2 in a row. Every morning we get the same thing. He hasn't won 2 in a row. And it's the same thing every single day, isn't it? Different shirt. Big up LT. What's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. I hope Dalot has a decent game. And I think Mainu is better suited for the game because he'll be able to unlock a low block. I also hope Cunha, Mbremo, Sesko start and not Mount as a force. I agree with that, LT. I hope all our players have a good game. Of course, I want Man United to win the game. We had someone come in yesterday on the stream and said they hope Man United lose. I couldn't believe what I was hearing because they don't rate Ruben Amorim. And I'm like, what are you on about? I mean, I never in my life wanted Man United to lose. I think it's absolutely disgraceful to call yourself a Man United fan if you want us to lose. I want every single player, even if I don't rate those players, to play well today and to have a man in the match display. Because if they do, they're liable to win the game. And that's what it's all about. I agree with you, LT. I think we should play Sesko. I do believe we say Sesko. However, in regards to Dalot, and I know, look, guys, I'm going to support him today. I think we should play Mbremo on the right. I think he's a great right winger. I think we should play Bruno and Cunha as a number 10s. And I think we'd say Mainu in the midfield with Ugarte. I think that would be a much more balanced team. And that's what I would say. Because if things go wrong in that midfield, you could drop Bruno into that midfield rather than having Cunha and Mbremo and you can't drop any of them into the midfield. You know what I mean? You know, and at least if things don't go well, you've got Mbremo on the right, you've got more of an attacking threat there rather than Dalot. And that I don't know why we don't do that, because Embremo has played it, and he's played it for Brentford. And I don't know why we do it. It's crazy that we're not looking at doing that. But big up LT, hope you're doing well. Big up Kevin, how you doing, my friend? Bremo will score. It's written in the stars, Kevin. It is written in the stars. You can just see it right now. And Bremo scoring against Brentford, against his old club. It always happens, doesn't it? I mean, hopefully it happens for us for a change. It always goes against us. So hopefully it happens for us for a change. Milton, didn't Fulham do that? So why not United? Big up, Stephen. Samuel, what do you think of Hussam saying no, Rio Ferdinand couldn't lace Virgil van Dijk's boots? Look, I like Hussam, but Rio Ferdinand is a 10 times more better player than Van Dijk. And I'll tell you why. Van Dijk's not a bad player. I'll tell you why. Hussam said that football nowadays, the football these days is the best it's ever been, the Premier League, which is an absolute lie. And that comes from people who weren't around in the 90s to say that. I would question people's knowledge of football if you're saying that football these days is better than it was in the 90s and the turn of the century. Now, Virgil van Dijk didn't have to play against Alan Shearer, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Matt Letizia, Shall we go on? Dion Dublin. Should we go on? They're gone. Didier Drogba. He didn't have to play against Thierry Henry, Nicolas Anelka, Dennis Bergkamp. What players of that ilk are around today? Tell me what players are around today of that ilk. None of them. No one of that ilk is around today. And anyone who tries to argue me with this point that, football's better these days, they'll get shut down, And that's what it is. I would question the knowledge of football, because Rio Ferdinand is one of the greatest defenders of all time. Van Dijk is a fantastic defender, don't get me wrong. But, to say that he's better than Ferdinand, in what sense is he better than Ferdinand? In what way is he better than Ferdinand? How many league titles did Rio Ferdinand win? In his short time at Man United, how many league titles did Rio Ferdinand win? He won the Premier League and Champions League double, guys. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about realistically. So when people are talking about, this player, this is, how would I say it? It is recency biased. Recency biased. And that's what it is. Jaap Stam was better than Van Dijk. Vidic was better than Van Dijk. These players were, Steve Bruce was better than Van Dijk. Gary Pallister was better than Van Dijk. People want to talk about this like, he's the best defender of all time. I don't see it. I see 2 titles in 30 years. Rio Ferdinand won numerous amounts of titles in the most difficult period for football. And that's what I would say, and I think anyone who tries to say that this player is better now, knows nothing, because they weren't around at that time. I, however, was around at that time. I have no affiliation with any era of football. I'm around now. I'm around in the 90s. I'm around in the late 80s. I was around in those times, and I got to see it. And I would say wholeheartedly that these days, these days they can't even touch the 90s, the early 2000s. No, they can't touch it. They can't, because football was far better. This is why these days we're still talking about the players that we had. We're still talking about the 90s. We're still talking about these players. Guys, there's no one who can touch Alan Shearer, Les Ferdinand, Faustino Asprilla, David Ginola. There's no one who can touch these players these days. Name me a player like David Ginola. And David Ginola, remember, wasn't even good enough to play for Manchester United. Name me a player that is as good as David Ginola these days, who can take on his man and bend the ball into the back of the net like he did back in the day. You can't. And this is what we're talking about. They wanna say that football is better these days. It is not, mate. It is not. Each one of those teams, Southampton would win the league these days. The 90s, Southampton will win the league these days. That is what I'm talking about. They will be competing for Champions League. That is what I'm talking about, guys. And people could say whatever they want, but they always want to downplay Man United players because they didn't see these Man United players. I understand that you didn't see it, right? But as a Man United fan, I could look in the past and I could look at Kevin Keegan, right? I could look at Kenny Dalglish and I could say to them, they were great players, legendary players, brilliant players. They're not my team. It's not Liverpool, but I know how good they were. And I didn't see them play, but I know how good they were. The problem with this generation is that they don't know how good these players were. They haven't done their research, right? And it's very bewildering because these days it's just a click of a finger that they don't do it, right? And they don't. And I actually think they don't believe it. They say it because they don't believe it's true, but they want it to be true because they support Liverpool. And that is also a narrative that I want to bring out there, that a lot of these fans who support rival clubs will say that because they support that club. It's as simple as that. And that is what it boils down to at the end of the day. It boils down to that. But recency bias is unfair, you know, at the end of the day. But there we go. Sankit, we need to win today. Hopefully it will be a comfortable one. Absolutely, guys. One True Stadium. Big up, One True Devil, sorry. One True Devil. Big up, how you doing, Daryl? 3-0, bro. Come on, man. I would love that, mate. Absolutely. And thank you so much, Sanjit, for the beautiful super chat. You're an absolute legend. Really appreciate your support of the channel, my guy. Really do. And thank you for supporting, and it gets reinvested straight into the channel. So I really appreciate everyone who supports the channel. Thank you for the super chat, Sanjit. Again, you're an absolute legend, mate. And I really appreciate you. Casemiro out is a blessing in disguise. I have learned from the last time, so I will not be negative before the United 3-1. Sanjit, look, one thing I would say to you, right? I have my moments. I have my moments, mate. I have my moments before the game. Key moments for me. It's before the game when the team gets announced. I have my run. Generally, it is a run every single game before the game because I'm like, you know, I don't like that team. And generally, when I see the team, I'm not happy with the team because I feel like he should be playing certain players. But I have my run and it's over. I watch the game and support the team. I have a little run and it's over. I watch the game and support the team. After the game, I don't do match reactions. And the reason I don't do match reactions is because I don't want to be like those other content creators who spit at the camera, shouting and screaming about blah, blah, blah. I like to give myself a few hours to think about what I'm going to say and talk in a rational sense, you know, talk in a common sense sort of thing. You know what I mean? I would say. And I understand the frustration in the fan base, Sanjay. I really do. And, you know, it's annoying. And I'm tired of the negativity. I'm tired of Man United losing because when Man United lose, it's headline news, isn't it? It's headline news. Man United lost again. You know, it's just annoying, you know. And I really want Man United to win against Brentford today because as I always want Man United to win, even against friendlies, I want Man United to win. But today is extra incentive because I've been thinking all week about that Chelsea game. And I've been thinking, yeah, we started the game well, but we always start the game well. And we generally drift off in games. Chelsea went down to 10 men before we had an opportunity to drift off. So I don't really know how well we actually played. And I'm like that, you know, I've been thinking like that all game. I was delighted with the result. Absolutely. I was ecstatic with the result, you know, at the end of the day. But what I would say is that, yeah, look, today is judgment day for me. Today is a game that we're going to get an education about where Man United truly are. Because if we go out there today and don't win, you're just going to look at things and say, well, you know what, same old, isn't it? You know, I mean, God forbid if we lose, touch wood, we don't lose. You know, it's going to be difficult. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys. Simon, I understand you, man. I respect your opinion. If you back the new stadium, that's entirely up to you, Simon. It's entirely up to you. I don't, and I will not be swayed for that because I've been to Old Trafford hundreds of times. And in regards to Must and that, I'm not really interested in them, mate. Don't think they're aggressive enough. Don't think they do enough for the football club. I don't. And I will say that, you know, they act and that's it. They get excited by shiny new toys. I don't get excited by the shiny new toys, Simon. I don't. I care about the football team. I don't care about shiny new stadium and padded seats. I don't. And that's just the way it is. And I've been to every single stadium around the world, right? And I'm not too interested in it. Old Trafford is our home. And that is my opinion. But I respect yours, Simon. All the best. Milton, hoping for a win today. Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope so. Absolutely. Let's hope we get that win. Stephen, this is Kobe chance if Casemiro's out. I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Kobe's not a number 6, Stephen. Kobe's a number 8. The only player that Kobe can replace is Bruno in that midfield. Guys, come on, Stephen. Come on. Your ball knowledge is better than that. He's not a number 6. He's a number 8. The only person that can replace Casemiro is Ugarte. This is why when Casemiro comes off the pitch, Ugarte comes on. Maine's ball recovery is not as good as Ugarte. He's not a good tackler. He's a more of a progressive sort of player. He's a Bruno player, Stephen. So he'll play in the number 8 position. And that's what he did. The number 6 position is completely different to the number 8. Completely different. He played. So that's why, you know, I think that Ugarte will start today. And that's what it is. We will win, Sale. Come on, Marky Mark. We will win. We're going to win the game today. Absolutely believe in it. Absolutely. Ephraim, smash the likes and subscribe. Thank you so much, Ephraim. Legend, of course. Stephen, it sounds like Don is hating. Don, look, he's a Liverpool fan. I can't say anything about it. I mean, he's a Liverpool fan. I mean, I can turn around here and comfortably praise Liverpool. I can comfortably say that they're the best team in England at the moment. I could comfortably talk about their historical players and not be swayed by it because I'm not unfair. I'm realist. I talk about what's real. You know, however, bringing in some of the most successful Manchester United teams in Premier League history, if not European history, I mean, you've got a long way to go, mate. He's won 2 league titles. In what? How long? 10 years? How many trophies did Rio Ferdinand win in 10 years? And that's what we need to look at. Now, they won't listen to that because they want to add weight to the narrative that it's the hardest league right now because they want to make Liverpool look better than they are. I'm sorry, but that Liverpool team want to get in the top 5 in the 90s. And that's my opinion. Want to get in the top 5. Like I've always said, guys, and I'm very fair. I've always said to various people around, Mohamed Salah should win a Ballon d'Or. Mohamed Salah should win a Ballon d'Or. Mohamed Salah is scandalous. He hasn't won a Ballon d'Or. I always say that. I am fair. You know what I mean? And I always said that. I've said that to other people and stuff like that, you know? But I would not call that bull crap when I hear it. I'll call it out. Because at the end of the day, Nemanja Vidic, Jaap Stam, Rio Ferdinand, these players were better than Virgil van Dijk. They were better. It's as simple as that. Like, you just need to look at the stats and the history. You know what I mean? You just need to look at what they've won. You know, and look, guys, look. I said it again. Virgil van Dijk's a great player, a good player, a world-class player at this era, but he's not touching them. He's not touching that era. No, you can't touch the Man United team that won 3 titles in a row. Rio Ferdinand won 3 titles in a row and a Champions League to boot, right? And various other cups as well, guys. Can't touch it. When Rio Ferdinand signed for Man United way back when with his white suit and all of that, you know, when Man United were winning, he was winning even back then. Won the league in 2003. Huh? You know, and, you know, at the end of the day, look, how many titles did Rio Ferdinand win? 2003? Right? 2007, 2008, 2009, right? 2013, right? 5 off the cuff right there, right? Now, let's talk about that in that short space of time, right? And that's what we're talking about. You know, Van Dijk, great player, but he's not touching him, absolutely. I would like to see us score 5 goals against struggling Brentford team. I mean, the thing with Brentford, though, Samuel, Brentford are the sort of team that can turn up against the big teams. They did do it against Chelsea, didn't they? They drew 2-2, didn't they? So they're going to turn up today. But this is the thing with these teams. They will go and lose to Burnley. That's what they do. They will lose to Burnley. They lose to Bournemouth, lose to Everton. But when they play Man United, that is their FA Cup final. And that is what we should be used to. And that is what we should be, you know what, ready for. Because we've had a week to prepare for it. We know what Brentford are going to do. You know, absolutely. 14 away from 50 likes, guys. Guys, come on, smash the likes, guys. Got 83 in the house. I should have at least 50 likes, guys. Come on, guys, smash that like. Smash that like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Put the notifications on. All that. So share the video. Click the video. All these great stuff, guys. Please. Good for the video. Really appreciate every single one. Of course. Daryl, mate, they couldn't get close to the rough and tough of football as it was in the 90s. A lot of these players wouldn't last 5 minutes. Absolutely. These people don't understand how good they were. Just because they were babies in the 90s and the early turn of the century. They were kids. They don't really understand. You know, 1999, I was a 16, 17-year-old. You know what I mean? And I was at, I know I could watch and I understood football back then, you know, and I knew how good these players were. And they will never be touched. I'm sorry. They will never be touched. Never. Every single, I say it as much as this, guys. Any one of those top 10 teams in the 90s could win the league these days. And that's how I would say it, guys. And I'm not being over-exaggerating. I'm saying it on a real. I wish football was better these days. It's not. And I tell you why. The street footballer is gone. The street footballer is gone. When we were growing up, the first thing I did, I would put my rucksack down and I would go out, pick up that football, and I'll go out and play football. These days, what do? They put their rucksack down after school. They sit down, ding, 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 with the phone. Social media. Things are free now. Everything is free. You can do whatever you want on your phone. We used to go out and play football. The grassroots footballer has disappeared. And what did the grassroots footballer have what the footballer of today doesn't have? The grassroots footballer had originality. The grassroots footballer develop themselves, their own skills, their own original abilities, right? These days, as soon as a player hits 16, if they're going to be a footballer, they're already rich too soon. So that takes away a huge amount of the edge already, right? They're getting pampered, they're getting massages. And I'm feeling like they're all cardboard cut out of everyone else. You know, Lamine Yamal, Pedri, these players. And I think even Lee Gunner would admit to me. He would admit it, right? These players would be average players in the 90s. I'm saying it as it is. I'm saying it is. And that's no offense, but that is the way it is. That is naturally the way it is. Why is music declined? Where's the Robert De Niro's? Where's the Al Pacinos? Where's all these actors? Why is it declined? Acting, music, sport, it's all declined. Everything about it's declined. No, and that's it. That's just the way it is. And that's because of the technology and stuff. Yeah, we have good benefits of it and stuff like that. Yeah, fitness is a little bit better these days, I would admit. Fitness. But back then, I see Peter Schmeichel limping, you know, and still carried on. The level of aggression, the level of ability, the level of dedication, and the level of will to win was 10 times better than back then than now. And I would argue that of anyone. Daryl, big up, my friend. Big up, Daryl. One True Football. Big up, my friend. One True Devil, should I say. Football players need to stop playing from the back and let players go back to playing with flair and tech. Absolutely. These days, football is a cardboard cutout of everything else. It's a cardboard cutout. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's a cardboard cutout of everything else. LT, if you're Amram out, if you're Amram out, then unfortunately, if you're you, it's safe that with Ineos because he aligns with their vision of a young team, which is less costly, and he's a coach. We also develops players. Absolutely, LT. Absolutely, my friend. Gary, one of my favorites was Wes Brown taking it on a runner at the wing back. Nothing got past Wes Brown. It was much fun to watch. These days, it's completely different, and people want to big up Dallo and people like that. You know, I look at these players and I think, you know what? I wish they were good, but they're not. They play for Man United. I wish they were good. I wish they were world class. I say Mbremo's good. I say Cunha's good. I say these players are good, but I wouldn't say Dallo's good because I don't think he's good compared to what we used to have. He's not. He's a very average player. And I don't say that out of hating. I don't say it out of bitterness. I don't say it out of sinister thing. I say it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. 3 points collectively. Absolutely, William. Big up, William. Hope you're well. Good to see you again. Sal, did you see when Van Dijk defend, he cannot engage with one-on-one defending? Yeah, look, at the end of the day, Van Dijk is nowhere near what Rio Ferdinand was. Rio Ferdinand was the complete defender, one of the greatest defenders of all time. And I would argue that of anyone. If Van Dijk is so great, why can't he win anything with Holland? And why can't he do anything with Holland? You know, and I don't know. Guys, it's just recency. It's just recency bias, guys. You know. Goals for George. How you doing? Good to see you again. Long time. El Fernand Amino absolutely would sit Van der Vaart on his arse if he played against Kanu. Absolutely. We forget about Nwankwo Kanu. His cousin went to my wedding. Sorry. Would make Van Dijk do the swanky leg if he played against each other. Let's not even talk about it. It's what Dwight York, Andy Cole, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Matt Letizia, Dion Dublin. You know, I could kick Alan Shearer, Chris Sutton, Didier Drogba. You know, let's think about Andrei Shevchenko. Let's keep going on. Yakubu. You know, let's keep going on. We can go on and on and on and Ariston about how great the 90s were in comparison to now. And no one would answer me because they like to change the subject when I mention it because they know if I go on about it, the knowledge is deep. You know, the knowledge is deep. Someone said to me, oh, yeah, but look at Newcastle these days. They're much better. Les Ferdinand, Alan Shearer, Faustino Aspira, Peter Beardsley, Gary Speed, Robert Lee, Steve Stone. You know, are we going to carry on? David Ginola, Philip Albert, Pavel Cernacek. Are we going to really carry on with this notion? And people want to bring in Newcastle. Newcastle wouldn't stand a chance in the 90s. They wouldn't even come close. You know what I mean? Absolutely not. This Newcastle team. We all react bad after a loss. It's just frustrating coming out. Absolutely. It's football brings the best and the worst out of it. People say he can play both. It'd be, mate, I think the reason we can't play both, Stephen, is because Bruno's positionally ill-disciplined. And imagine Bruno drifts off into left wing back and you're leaving Mainu isolated in that middle. Also, Mainu's not a left foot. I think he's a right foot, if I believe. He's going to be left exposed 2 against 1, 3 against 1. And that's the problem that we have. If we had disciplined players who know when to drop back, who know when to go forward, then it'll be a different story. But we don't have that at the moment. This is why we can't play 2 number 8s in theory. I would say I would love to do that, be attacking, but I don't think that Mainu is a good tackler of the ball. I don't think he can retrieve the ball like an Ugarte. But you never know what's going to happen in football. But I think that Ruben Amorim is what I've learned about Ruben Amorim these days is that Ruben Amorim is very predictable in regards to his lineups. He doesn't really change anything. I don't think I'm going to look at that team today and be surprised. I'm telling you right now, Mason Mount will play. Luke Shaw will play. Bayern will play. Dalot will play. I just see it like that. It's not right. I know it's not right, and but I just predict that's going to happen, Steve, and I can't see Ruben changing. Ruben's a very stubborn guy. Ruben said he not even the Pope would change what he's going to change at the end of the day. So I do believe it's going to be a predictable lineup, in my opinion. Marky Mark, my first game at Old Trafford was my dad was at Old Trafford. Now that he's passed away, I don't want to lose Old Trafford. Absolutely, Marky Mark. Condolences to your dad and prayers to your dad, my friend. I agree, mate. Every single one of us have our memory about Old Trafford, have our memory about the stadium. And as I've always said, the grass isn't greener on the other side all the time. It's not. And, and I would say that staying at Old Trafford would be great. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think they're moving away from it because Ineos want to rubber stamp the Ineos brand everywhere. That's what they want to do. People think it's about moving away and going to a new stadium with better facilities. It's absolutely not about that. It's about money. That's what it's about. It's nothing about Man United improving and going forward and that. Why do you think Gary Neville supports a new stadium? Hotel football. He wants a new hotel. That's it. He wants to expand his brand. That's what he wants. That's all he cares. It's a conflict of interest. And this is exactly what it's about these days. People don't really care, really. They think they care, but they don't really care about our heritage. They don't care about who we are. Moving away from Old Trafford. And I've spoken to many people around Europe and many people, other fans of other clubs, and say, if you move away from Old Trafford, it's a massive mistake. And I do agree with that. I just think that Old Trafford needs to be refurbished. Old Trafford needs to be rebuilt, so to speak. And we can make Old Trafford into the fortress that it once was. We can improve the atmosphere. We can make it more intimidating against rivals and stuff. I think that's what we need to do, guys. Samuel, Arsenal and West Ham United left their stadiums on for corporate stadiums and with no atmosphere, unlike Highbury and Upton Park. Exactly. And ask West Ham fans what they think. Ask Arsenal fans what they truly think. I'm not saying that they should move away. They should never rebuild their stadium. They should have rebuilt the current stadium. That's what they should have done because that is your spiritual home for 100 years. And that's what I would say. I just feel like we're taking away everything that we are. And that's my opinion on it. I think we got a bunch of pillows who run protests and, they don't really know the depths of what some teams go to back their club against ownership, against, like, for example, the Glazers. We have people, there's people at AC Milan and Inter Milan who the owners have to answer to the ultras at full time on the pitch, and we don't have that. We're too soft. So anything, we get excited by shiny new toys. We get excited by that padded seats and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I would always argue the point. I would always argue this point with everyone that we need to understand and stop losing who we are because we're throwing it all away, and I don't agree with it. William, 90s football was class. A lot of great teams all over Europe. Great players, every team. I would debate that with anyone. Yeah, anyone. Every team had world-class players. A great Ajax team of the past, the Juventus team with Del Piero, with Trezeguet, with Eka Davids, with Delivio, with Inzaghi. You know what I mean? You look at the Inter Milan team with Zamorano, with R9, with Zanetti, with Simeone. You look at the Parma team with Thomas Brolin, Gianfranco Zola, Juan Sebastian Veron, and you can get going on. I'm just talking about Italy now. I'm looking at Lazio with Alan Boksic, with Marcelo Salas. I'm looking at these teams and I'm looking at people. And you look at like Ajax with Carnu, with Bergkamp. guys. You know, there's no comparison. There's no comparison, and people only want to say that because they're tough monsters. They were around. They were kids back in them days, and they don't quite understand how great football was back then. And they they wish they did, and this is why they defend it. It's a self-defense mechanism that they're doing, and yeah, and that's what it is. William, in Bremo gonna haunt Brentford today? Come on, William, absolutely hope so, mate. Daryl, 100%. I played football 6-7 hours a day in the summer, brother. After school, every time was different, and then a drum that into my son when he has old enough. You got to, mate. I actually think that these kids shouldn't be using mobile phones until they're 16, 17, 18 years old. I don't think they should be doing that. You know, I felt very privileged and very grateful that I was around before the influx of technology. Technology is a great thing, but I think that we're relying on it too much, especially with the days of ChatGPT and obviously AI and things like that. We're relying on it too much, to the extent that I get 15, 16-year-olds coming up to me asking me, Sal, how do I do this? How do I do that? They want to do content creation, and they're asking me, how do I do this? How do I do that? Mate, you know, come on, mate. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. You're young. You should know how to do this. This is your generation. You know, even though we invented it, my generation, you know, and I'm like, guys, are these guys not up there? Don't they understand? Don't they use their brain how to do things and everything like that? And I'm like, wow, you know, their work ethic is gone. And I think that we need to be careful in regards to this. You know, we need to be careful. It's like the digital IDs. Everything is turning into technology these days. Everything is going into the realms of click the finger, you know, and that's it. You know, press a button and that's it. You know, and that's the problem these days. There's no work ethic, and that's why football and everything and other things have declined over the years, of course. LT. Van Dijk is nowhere near our legends, and rivals just like to compare their current players because at our lowest, and it makes them relevant. People shouldn't take legend lightly. I mean, that word legend has been used way lightly. LT, I agree. The word legend is just thrown around like nothing, like you know, sweets. It's been overused, that word legend, over the years, guys. Absolutely. Light Crown, big up Light Crown Pointers. How you doing? I see Vidic in Delete whenever I see him. Light Crown Painters, absolutely, I see that. It's a long way to go for Delict, of course, but I absolutely see that. Yeah, I see that comparison. I do that. If he achieves half of what Delict achieved, half of what Vidic achieved, he'll be in for a winner, right? Now, what he needs to do, what we need to do as a team, we need to transfer all those comparisons and make it into success. That's what we need to do. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, what Vidic had was success. And I see the comparisons. I do. I really do. Ellen, good morning. How you doing? Are you overslept? Naughty. Ephraim, 5 likes away, guys. Don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. Really appreciate everyone, guys. I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I really appreciate you, all the comments and all the opinions. It's absolutely great interacting with you lot. Please, guys, before I leave, don't forget to subscribe. Gareth Gates. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. Don't forget to put your notifications on in case I go live. You know what I mean? Guys, much love to you all. And I'll see you later for the watch along. I will be live 12 p.m. UK time, guys, for the Man United. Massive game for Man United. Up the Reds. Let's do this. And guys, don't forget to join me for that. It's going to be a massive one. We're all going to be together in it, guys. And it's going to be hopefully not as stressful as it's been for over the last couple of years. Guys, I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and I shall see you for the watch along. Take it easy, guys. Peace.